Hey everybody, hopefully you guys have been enjoying this tutorial of MercedUI. We've kind of gone over all the main features. Again, there's a lot of extra stuff that's kind of in the library that's fun to play around with. Like I'm going to go over the router in this video, but just to kind of give you a quick show you. Um, the, Also, there's this get query hash function, so that way you can grab the URL queries and hashes really easily. Because a lot of times you sit there and you're like, oh, I need to get the URL query from the front end, and there really isn't a fun way to doing that. You have to go parse the URL and do all this fun stuff. I have it built for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So if you need to get the query from the URL for whatever reason, that's how you do it. I already mentioned MUI requests in one of the previous videos to make HTTP requests. This is another way to make a component. This only makes a static component, no state. So if you're just trying to make a set thing, this is another way to do it. You can read the docs and try it out. Which is there twice. Oh, here's the make live component. But make a live component is just another one that also does have state, except it's referred to as store. And again, you can read that on how to do that. Capture props is the actual function I use to capture props. You can actually use it as a standalone function and capture the props of another element. So you can actually, inside the code of one component, refer to the props of another component with this capture props function. So you have that. Here's the global store function. So as I mentioned, there's like you can have a global state. So the global state, if you want to have a standalone global state that isn't dependent on the MercedElement class, that's the function for it. And if you want to have like a global reducer, that's how you would do it. Map to DOM, you kind of saw how I use that. So map to DOM bind data is that. Create rotator is kind of like a router, except the router that I'm going to show you now is a little bit more straightforward and more similar to React router. But you can also use this as a way to sort of switch between many different components and templates. Simple component is just another simple way to make components. Quick component probably does a better job, but it's there. You can use it. I'm not taking it out because it's not a bad way of doing things. And there's quick component, which you guys already know how to use. And then our router. Okay, and that's pretty much it. There is these two pre-made components I made. They're made with HTML element, so they don't depend on anything in this library. So I've removed them from the main file. So if you did want to use this container component or this card component, which really don't do all that much, you can use the CDN from here. It's there. It's nothing crazy, but I didn't want to get rid of them completely in case somebody did find a use for them. Okay, so let's do this router thing. Okay, so the router doesn't to use the router, I don't actually have to really do anything beyond what I've already done. That all happens in the HTML. Okay, so basically the way this works is you'll have a router component. It starts with M for like MercedUI, so that way it doesn't have a collision with like React router's router if you have both libraries loaded at the same time for some reason. So M router, and you give the router a name. So we'll say name equals router or main. This is how the links know which router to rend to. Okay, M router. Cool. So we know that elements, and I'm going to get rid of all this now. We don't really need this anymore. Form. And we'll get the form too. Okay, and then we have to name sort of a default. Default would be like what shows up there naturally. So we're going to just say nothing shows up there by default. And then we'll create a link, which would be mlink. And then mlink, you put the name, has to match the router you want it to route to. So you can have many links that have the same name, but only one router with the same name. So basically, all the links that have a name of main will route to the main router. Main. And then here you put a target, which is what element will render when you click this link. Okay, so you just put equal here, and we'll just do test. Okay, you just put the name of the component. You don't have to put the tags or anything. You just put test, the name. Okay. And theoretically, you could put things like a div or whatnot in there. That would still work. But why? Let's see here. Mlink. And then in between, you would just put what you want to show up to be clickable. So I'm just gonna put do a button. Button, click me, slash button, and then we close the M link. And that's it. That's built right in. So now I don't have to touch my JavaScript at all. Okay, so let's go back over here, take a look at the page. All that's going to disappear. Okay, so see right now there's nothing in there because I didn't put a tag. So you're generally going to want to have something by there by default, because if not, it just gets like empty carrots. But again, that's just to show you that it changes. So I hit here, and there's the test component then renders. Okay, so you know, if you wanted to do that sort of pattern where you basically your router is routing between different components, kind of like static pages, that's there. Just create your components and then have your router route between them. Yeah, with that, I think you kind of know how to use all the parts of Merced library. So you can create components that have state and reducer functionality globally and locally. You can route. You can iterate over arrays to create your templates. You can work with forms in a nice, easy way. You know how to use the lifecycle functions. Okay, so you are in great shape as far as working with web components. And the great thing is that this is a small library, 10.4 kilobytes, which is less than even the mini version of React, which is called Preact, which comes in at 16 kilobytes. But not only, but you're not necessarily getting all the Redux type functionality, router, the global state management stuff, and all capture props, get query hash in there as well. All these other cool tools along with that. Okay, so for 10.4 kilobytes, this really gives you a lot of bang for your bundle size. So thank you guys for watching these videos. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. Okay. Okay, and again, that's just an error because I took out all the tags for the form. With that, I'll see you guys later.